What's going on, baseball fans? Jeremy Laracuente here for the Baseball Banter Broadcast, and today we round out our series looking at the X factors of the 2022 campaign, this time in the National League West. But before we get into it, if you haven't already done so, smash that subscribe button down below, as it does a huge service for us in trying to grow this community. Let all of your baseball friends know that this is the channel to watch in 2022, and stick around to the end to find out how you can save 5% off your order on baseballbanterbroadcast.com. Let's get into it. Now, as we begin looking at the National League West to round out this series, we begin with the Colorado Rockies. I think there's very little question that the Rockies are going to go through a rebuild, and the basis of this rebuild is going to be built around Brendan Rodgers, their new shortstop. This is a player to me that has the ability to kind of replace the last two shortstops that the Rockies have gone through. Troy Tulowitzki led into Trevor Story now to Brendan Rodgers. This to me is a player that they're going to try to build their franchise around. Now, that being said, Colorado is going to need a lot of help, and Brendan Rodgers is going to be the guy that they build this franchise around. To me, that makes him the X factor for the Rockies in 2022. Now, as we look at the Arizona Diamondbacks, a team that to me is borderlining on either rebuilding or going for a postseason run. That being said, their X factor for this season is Ketel Marte. If they decide to pivot and start to rebuild, Marte is the guy that they trade away to get the most back. If they decide that they're going to try to go after it, Ketel Marte is going to be their best player. His versatility on the field, being able to play in the outfield as well as the infield, being a switch hitter at the plate, is going to provide the Arizona Diamondbacks with the best option and chance for success. Again, if they decide to pivot and rebuild, this is going to be the player that offers them the best chance of a massive return because of his ability and versatility. To me, that makes him the most important player and the X factor for the Diamondbacks in 2022. Now, as we look at the San Francisco Giants, there's going to be one player who has the entire eyes of the San Francisco Giant Nation trained on him, and it is going to be that of Joey Bart. Bart is going to be coming into the starting rotation, the starting role of catcher in 2022 with the retirement of Buster Posey. Therefore, there's going to be a ton of eyes on this young upstart catcher. I think that there's going to be a lot of pressure put on him, but I think he's going to be able to handle it. That being said, I think that because of there being so much pressure on him, he's going to be looked at as the biggest and most important factor for the Giants in 2022. Therefore, making him the de facto X factor for the Giants in 2022. Now, as we look at the Dodgers, the 2022 X factor, in my opinion, is that of Cody Bellinger. Now, this might seem counterproductive, as Cody's been up and down, and you have a much more consistent player in Mookie Betts. But that in and of itself is the reason why Cody is the X factor. How he is able to produce in 2022 is really going to be how the Dodgers are able to make moves in 2022 towards the postseason. Mookie is going to be consistent. We know what he's capable of providing. If Bellinger is able to match that production, if Bellinger is able to get back to the heights of what we saw him as a player, this is going to make the Dodgers even more of a force in that National League West division. However, if Bellinger is faltered, if he's injured a lot in 2022, the Dodgers are going to have a harder time making it to the postseason. Now, I don't think that they missed the postseason in 2022. I think they have that ability even without Bellinger having a good season. But for them to have a truly successful 2022, Cody Bellinger is going to be that X factor of importance in this team. Now, as we round out the National League West and this series as a whole, we look at the San Diego Padres. There's very little question that the number one most important player and the X factor for the Padres in 2022 is Fernando Tatis Jr. This is one of the most dynamic and entertaining players in all of Major League Baseball. The energy, the passion, the flair with which this player plays is absolutely undeniable. However, we've also seen him get hurt. And yes, playing through the injuries and playing through the pain is what you want to see from your star player. But if Fernando is unable to remain on the field for a considerable length of time in 2022, the Padres are going to find themselves faltering as they did in 2021. I think if he's able to prove that he is healthy and remain as productive as we've seen him when he is healthy, this is going to be a player that helps push the Padres towards claiming the top of that National League West division. But I want to hear from you guys. Let me know your feelings on this down in the comment section below. What are your thoughts on these particular X factors? Should there have been other players on these National League West teams that should have been listed as the X Factor? Let me know that down in the comments and we'll discuss it further. As always, keep it locked into the entire GLMG family with Sibs, the Grand and Geek Show, and of course here on the Baseball Banter Broadcast. And for sticking around to this point in the video, the way that you're able to save 5% off your order on baseballbanterbroadcast.com is by using the promo code BANTER. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Keep it locked into the Baseball Banter Broadcast all season long as we continue bringing you coverage each and every single day. So keep it locked in as I continue to bring you the latest news, notes, and my personal thoughts, theories, and opinions on the game of Major League Baseball. Peace.